Hey, what's up, guys? So, I am the voice behind Shady Smile YouTube channel, and this morning we are going to look at 4 painting technique, right? So, here I am. Well, I wouldn't say this is my studio, but this is a room in my house that is not yet fully furnished or complete, I would say. So, I just use it for now. But in due time we'll have a studio looking at. But this morning we are going to focus on 4 painting technique, and over here, as you can see, we have our mixing palette, we have our working space, we have our board right here, all of that. And as you can see, I'm also in my apron. I can't really say that too loud because it's my mother apron. She uses it in the kitchen, but she's asleep right now. So I'm just using it for now. So when you get back, we'll do some work. Thank you. All right, guys. So we are back, and the first technique that we are going to look at is sponging technique. So here I have my sponge already wrapped. I was using it before in some paint. As you can see, I use 3 colors. Right, and I want my students to be focusing on the 3 primary colors, so I use the red, the yellow, and the blue. Right now, this morning, I'm just going to, we have our water also with our paintbrush, because we're going to use a little little painting. We're going to use our paintbrush as well. Here I have my paintbrush over here. Water is right there, and I have one more sponge as well. All right, so first color that we're going to use this morning is some of the blue. All right, I just want my students to get the hand of the whole sponging technique. I'm matter of fact, the 4 painting technique that we are looking at this morning, right? So here we have sponge, so we're going to focus on that first, and I'm just going to dab a little bit. Okay, so when we are doing the sponging technique, this is how we really go about doing it, right? We dab our sponge over the surface for it to create that mushy texture, and we can dab it right out until the paint is totally out of the, well, it's not going to be out totally, but until the paint is a little bit out of the sponge, and we can go back into our paint and dab again to create different layer of the sky. So here I am doing a sky technique, right? The sponge is most suitable for doing the sky technique, even though you can use it to do other things as well. Right, sorry about that. I am the only one here videoing this morning, so I have to be using one hand and then focusing on the other. All right, so of course you can add some gray to your sky as well. Doesn't have to just be about blue and white, but I'm trying to keep it very basic this morning. Right, just to give you an idea of what the sponging technique is like. All right, so yeah, that's it for the sponging technique. You can use it to create a sky look, you can use it to create a tree look, work on any background, right? So that's a sponging technique. Now let us now look at, what's that? Wet and wet. All right, then again we are going in our blue. This time I'm going to use a little blue. I don't know what I'm going to create. I'm just going to show you the technique. I don't know what I'm going to basically create. I'm just going to layer some colors on the surface to show you the effect of the wet and wet technique. All right, here we go. So We have our wet and wet technique coming in. Right, sorry about that again, guys. And you put layer on top of layer. Right, just like that. You can add some different colors in it as well. Sorry about that. Alright. And we are basically just putting colors over the color while it is wet. Right? So that's the whole idea of wet and wet technique. Alright? That's the whole idea of the wet and wet technique. Color is not dry. You don't wait for it to dry. You keep on adding your different layer of paint while it is wet. All right. Now, for the next technique, we're going to need our dry brush. The brush has to be dry because we're going to look at dry brush technique now. Right? So here we are. Let's see. Let me mix some blue and yellow. So remember now, students, that when you mix your blue and your yellow together, you get green, right? And green would be a secondary color, because when you mix two primary colors together, you get secondary colors. All right, so that would be the whole idea of mixing your primary colors together to get your secondary color. When you mix your secondary color with your primary color, you get a color, an intermediate color, right? And then we know that we have the warm and cool colors. See that? I get green. And we apply it to the surface to create our dry brush technique. Now, dry brush technique now can give us texture and all of those things, right? Dry brush technique, you have a little paint in your brush, right? And you basically paint it right out, right? It also help for blending as well. And always remember that when you're painting, you go in one direction, right? Until your brush is completely dry. That's what I'm talking about. So, dry brush technique, it's pretty simple. Nothing too hard to it. It's pretty simple. And there we have it. All right, so that's 3 techniques out of the 4 that we are looking at already. Now we are going to look at glazing. For this one, it's similar to the wet and wet, because what you're going to do is to apply paint to your surface like that, right? Apply paint to your surface just like that. And it's going to you're going to allow it to dry a little bit, right? Going to allow it to dry a little bit. And we allow it to dry a little bit. We are then going to apply a layer of paint over it, right? So it's going to give us a little glaze. And of course, you can allow your paint to dry a little bit more for it to show more underneath the paint. But as you can see I'm adding blue over the green, and obviously the green is still showing up under the blue that we are adding. So the color that is beneath, which is the color that you apply first on the surface, supposed to be the stronger color showing up. All right, because that's the whole idea of glazing. Now glazing can also be used in a different area of visual arts, and that is in ceramics. We normally use glazing in ceramics as well when we are creating our whether you're creating like a bowl or something. All right, so that's it today, guys, for painting techniques. 4 painting technique that we looked at: sponge, wet and wet, glazing, and dry brushing. So next time I see you again, we'll be looking at the sponging well, no, not the sponging technique, but we're going to look at a different painting technique called sgraffito. And of course, sgraffito also can be used in ceramics as well. But today I thank you for tuning in, and you can, well, I hope you get something from this and you can use it in your next lesson. Thank you.